Hello all, this is Dr. Kishore, BK Kishore from Salt Lake City, Utah. And today I'm going to talk to you about the journey of life, the life itself. As you know, life is a long journey and we have to get prepared and with a plan and also a guiding principle like a GPS to reach our destiny. The education we receive in the schools, colleges, and the universities with our very high decorative degrees are nothing but the cars, the high-tech cars we can buy in the market. With that we can go around, but still we need something like GPS system to reach our destinies. Similarly, we also need a guiding principles in our life to reach the destiny, and we need both. Swami Vivekananda, who lived more than 120 years ago, used to say that education should be man-making. What it means? He means that a person, when educated, should be able to live like a perfect human being. He should not be just using his education to make a living in the world. And that is the gist of this saying, this education should be man-making. But today we don't see that often happening because we lost our tradition, we lost our cultural values, and we lost everything that really made India a great country in the past. In the Brhadaranyaka Upanishad, there are three lines that can exemplify what we had to do and what we have lost. They read Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It simply means we need to move or travel in our life from untruth to truth and from darkness to light. Then we will definitely move from death to immortality. We conquer the death and thus we attain peace. This should be our guiding principles even today. It's not meant for only ancient times. Even today, these principles work if you sincerely learn them and apply them in our life. Based on these things and on my own experiences in life, I have written a small book called Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, which means darkness to light. And this you will get copies, PDF copies of this book. And this is just written as a service to the young people, youth, and students in India and other parts of the world. Please try to read that thing. And today I will present only the summary and the gist of this book, and you can expand on it later by reading the book. One thing I want to make it clear is today many young people are getting confused between knowledge, information, wisdom, and happiness. Information, knowledge, and wisdom are not the same, but unfortunately, due to the Wikipedia and Google and all those internet tools, the moment people know something, they think that they have the knowledge and the wisdom, but that's not true. Information is comparable to groceries that we buy in the shops. Knowledge is comparable to the recipe that we have in our hand to cook a particular dish. And that knowledge is converted to wisdom. Conversion of knowledge to wisdom is like taking the recipe and groceries and actually cooking the meal. And the real happiness comes only when you enjoy the meal. So information has to be acquired, collected, it is to be filtered, analyzed, and then converted into knowledge. And knowledge has to be practiced to get the wisdom, and that then only we will be happy in the life. So there are so many stages for happiness. The first thing I want to emphasize is the power of faith. Faith is something that is lacking these days. People won't believe, even their own parents, relatives, brothers and sisters, leave alone believing the rest of the world. So we need to first believe in ourselves firmly, and then we have to believe in the God. If we have these two things, and then we start believing in the people around us, in our home, and we'll also start believing faith, we develop faith in the inherent goodness of others. We should not look the world as black and white. Nobody is perfectly good, nobody is perfectly bad. It is only a question of shades of gray. So we need to understand that every person has some inherent good, and we need to believe that goodness, not necessarily the whole person. And what is really faith? Faith is believing in what you do not see today. The reward of faith is one day you will see what you believe. And one has to have that firm faith, then only then can succeed. If you want to, just even if you want to become a doctor, you have to believe that today, even if you're not doctor, so that one day you will become a doctor. So it applies even for the context of the worldly sense. You can achieve great things in the world only if you believe in yourself and you can do it. The other thing we see today in this crisis in the inner faith. Crisis in the inner faith is that people don't believe in their own inherent potentials. This is because we are being dragged too much into the worldly sense. Everything that we do is being influenced by people around us, starting from the home, parents, brothers and sisters, and friends, and the society. And this is more so happens in our community more than in the Western community, because we have so many social pressures. And because of these things and other things, crisis starts in our heart, the very early stage. So when this crisis starts, that we look the world in a different way. And the crisis we see in the world today is nothing but a reflection of our inner crisis within us. So we need to fix the inner crisis first, then we can see the world properly. It's like the glasses we wear. If we are wearing some glasses to see, and if the glasses are not perfect or they're not clean, they're cloudy, the whole world looks cloudy. So we need to fix our own inner crisis first. The other thing we often confused by young people is fate and destiny. Believe me, fate and destiny are not the same. They're two different things. Fate is something that happens to us, whether we made it or not, or it just comes by itself. It falls on us. It's most of the time it's not in our hands because it already happened. But destiny that helps us to overcome the fate is entirely in our hands. So by taking control of the destiny, we can actually overcome the fate, however bad it may be. If you go back and look in the history of the great men and women in this world, you see most of them had very difficult times in the childhood or early stages, but they have overcome them and emerged as great men and women. And we need to learn this in our life. And the other thing we need to cultivate is we have to live like a lotus. A lotus has roots very deep in the water, several feet down in the water, and it's born in a type of mud, but it grows all the way and comes out of the surface of the water, and it blossoms and gives a beautiful look in the lake. And what is interesting is the lotus survives because of the water and the mud, but neither the mud or water can touch it. It is completely insulated. It insulates from its own surroundings and leads its life in such a way that it always looks beautiful, not muddy. And the other thing is we need to have a purpose in our life. If you look around, the bees and the butterflies have great purpose. They go around, of course they sip a little bit of nectar, but they also do great things, like bees accumulate a lot of honey and produce so much honey that we all enjoy the honey. And the butterflies and help them to pollinate the flowers and help in the spring season and also for the crops. So we should live with a purpose in life that goes beyond our own life, just like the bees and butterflies. While they're living, they're serving the world. A purpose-driven life is far superior to a success-driven life. If you follow a purpose in your life, you actually open up several possibilities in your life. Your consciousness expands beyond your own life. You think bigger problems and try to solve them. But on the other hand, if you look for success, your own success in life, everything narrows down and your opportunities will narrow down. Your consciousness also gets limited to your immediate surroundings and your own family or kith and kin. This is one of the reasons why we are not able to achieve great things in the world today as scientists or great innovators as compared to the rest of the world, because we are mostly concerned about our success. um, be it because of the education system we had or whatever it is, but we can break that habit and come out. It's not necessarily we should be caught in the same way of thinking that we are brought up or learned in the schools. We have to come out of that thing, and we have to think outside the box and try to solve the problems of the life on the world. Then we will find a great purpose in the life. Adding value in the life is another thing. Whatever we do, we should show that we can add some value. It's like adding some flavor to the food or something like that. So be creative and generate value in everything you do, however small it may be. God does not expect us to do great things. God expects us to do everything with great care. Even if you do a small thing like reading a book to a child, show some creativity, some passion, and generate value, and definitely you feel that you are really great. It doesn't matter what we do. What matters is how splendidly we do is important. The value, when it comes to the value in the life, we often forget that we do not think that we have to generate the value. Suppose you work hard, earn some money, and then you go for shopping for a car, and then you start looking for a lot of details. What is the value of this car? What's the engine, that thing, this thing, electronics? There's a lot of list, and you want to go carefully and see that you'll get the best car for the price you are paying. But suppose you are a professional like a doctor or engineer or anything, you have to be careful that people also look for the same value you are looking in a car. So that value you can generate by showing that you're credible with integrity, you have strong motivation, you have intellectual grip, you have perfect mental balance and stability, and so many features you can generate and say, hey, look here, I have my own values, I have a list of values I can generate. That is very important, but we often forget that. The love and compassion, these are the two things that are lacking today in the world. Love and compassion can take us to far regions where brains cannot even dare to peep. If the world has to change one day or other, it is the love and compassion that can only change it. It's not the regulations, legislations, and all those political things. They cannot change the world as much as the love and compassion can change. The human creative power. Everybody is born with some creative power or other. Only thing is being conscious of it is very important. People who think that I don't have any creative thing are wrong. If they look in themselves, they definitely have something by which they can create as an object or a thought or a design or something. So among all the creatures, it's only humans who are blessed with the creative power. It is the creative power that led a caveman to dream one day that he can land on the moon, and he landed it. So use your creative power to solve the problems faced by the humanity. Don't use your creative power only to solve your own problems. You can do that one, but don't neglect the world and the community. Both are important. You may not be able to serve or save every human being on earth, but every person you serve or every person you save is like a starfish saved on the beach. And whether somebody notices it or not that you are saving people doesn't matter, because God is counting every one you saved. And even if the world does not notice it, God notices, and it is credited to your account. And when you grow up, you see that you are having a lot of things to do professionally and family wise and social life, and then one day you suddenly find that you're not able to balance all the things and advance. That needs a lot of self-discipline, and that self-discipline has to start very early in the life, not late in the life when you reach a certain stage in your life. So start practicing self-discipline and start thinking how to balance professional life, family life, and social life. Balance in all the three aspects of life is essential for a healthy physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. If any one of them is not good, you will the first thing you feel you're not happy. That should not happen. Now, if you look what are the ingredients for the happy life, first you should live with a purpose, higher aim in the life. If you don't have higher aim and purpose in the life, you can never be focused. You are not focusing your efforts. Then you should generate some value in your life. And you also should cultivate love and compassion. So when we have all the three, they should be brought together and amalgamated and or made into one unit. And you see where they all three meet, that's the point where you can actually derive happiness and peace in the life. And if the more and more they are integrated, you see your love, your happiness and peace in your life will increase. That's the secret of life. Now, Sanatana Dharma, you might have heard it often, what it means. These are some, nobody knows actually who made this word or who coined this word or what it means. But Sanatana Dharma is defined very differently in different books. But basically, it is a set of principles that predates all religions of the world. It predates even Hinduism, which is not actually a religion. And Hinduism is derived from the principles of Sanatana Dharma. If you want to tell what is Sanatana Dharma in simple form, it is based on 5 pillars called Satya or truth, Dharma or right conduct, Santi or peace, and Prema or love, and Ahimsa or non-violence. These 5 principles, if you see, are common to all religions. There is not a single religion which will not advocate all these 5 principles. And the beauty of this Sanatana Dharma is these 5 principles are arranged in tandem, that is one after another. They are not running parallel. For example, without cultivating Satya, truth, one doesn't even understand what is Dharma or right conduct. Only when one practices Dharma, that leads to Santi and peace. Only when a person is peaceful, he starts loving others. And only a person has the love in the heart, he cannot practice non-violence. So these have to be practiced one first step, second step, third step, like that. You cannot jump to the Santi, you cannot expect peace be there in your life without practicing Satya and Dharma. Similarly, we cannot see non-violence in the world without the principle of Prema. So these things have to be practiced by us all the time. And unfortunately today, truth is the first casualty in anything that happens in a different way. Now the last one I want to emphasize is this Swadharma and Paradharma. These two terms are grossly misunderstood and propagated in the Indian community. Swadharma and Paradharma, as described in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna, they do not refer to any occupation based on one's birth. It is completely wrong. What Swadharma and Paradharma means, Krishna is saying that every person is born with a seed in his inherent seed in his mind and intellectual, and that seed will grow into like a tree and start giving flowers or fruits in a way that it is made. It's like a tree. It's like a seed developing into a tree. And one has to understand that thing. Suppose a person is born with inherent potential to become a scientist. If he is allowed to become like that and mature and unfold his mind into scientist, he can become a great scientist. But on the other hand, he starts doing something else because of the pressures from the family or parents or even the society, or the way the structure, the society looks at different professions. Then he starts doing something else. The inherent potential in the person will never come out. Then what happens is there will be a conflict going on in that person, and due to this conflict there will not be real happiness, and some of them may end up in depression and even commit suicide. So today we see the youth around the world, especially in India, there are a lot of young people are in depression. Why should they be depressed? Are they poor? No, most of them are rich and well-to-do. So what they have everything in the life. They have all the material comforts and everything, but what they're missing because they have not found out their Swadharma. And it is very important. It takes years. or decades to unfold the mind completely. And this is very important that we should start thinking about what we are, what is our inherent potential, what is our aptitude, and let me do that thing. Don't bother about the world. You do what you want to do in your life, and you will be more successful in that profession than doing something else because the world rewards you by doing something else. That's not the right thing to do. And that's the meaning of Swadharma and Paradharma in the ancient India, and unfortunately we lost that meaning, and that's the reason we are not able to get back to our ancient glory anymore. And finally, we are all like diamonds. And if you see a raw diamond is has C, I mean when it is found with 3 C's: the carat, that is the weight of the diamond, and the clarity, it should be clear, and the color. Diamonds with a good carats and clarity and a tinge of color are very valuable, but you cannot sell the raw diamonds in the market. You have to cut them. This 4th C is the cutting, and it is only the cutting that is in the hands of the human beings. The rest 3 are in the nature. Similarly, we are already born with some inherent potentials, aptitudes, and skills and talents, but how we cut ourselves like diamonds and sell ourselves in the world like a valuable beings, it depends entirely on us. And that's the part we have to do on our own. We have to really struggle to cut our own personality and develop into very useful people in the world. Now, finally, the last slide. You are all born. Believe that you're all born to do great things in your life. Believe in it and work hard with diligence, and then God will lead you. And once you're out of your homes, away from your parents, and start living on your own, there is only one guiding principle, that is God. Always believe in God, and if you don't know how to find path, pray God and He will show you. And wish you all good luck. Thank you.